On today's Minute of the Apes, never send a monkey to do a man's job because they're taking all of the jobs from astronauts.
Take your sticking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Because of the divine bomb.
The only good human is a dead human! There is fire, there is smoke. Now fight like apes! The minute of the 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 apes!
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm Todd. I just looked across the table to see Richard. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great.
I would ask Sean how he's doing, but he's currently protecting my cables from his lovely, sweet little puppy, Gertie. Because Gertie has decided that the world needs to be set straight by chewing
What
cables.
the world needs now.
Oh, she is so mad now.
I know, she's smelling your bag, and that's not a sexual term.
I was about to say that's what I wish she would say. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
You know, it's always weird that we record these all in one sitting, so...
Don't spoil how.
Ah, come on. Here's the curtain. Let me pull it back. We sit in one sitting. And I think anybody that does a podcast like this probably does it in one sitting, wouldn't you?
Unless it's their job somehow, and they actually do it every day. I mean, because there are some podcasts that are daily ones, but literally daily.
Yeah. I
have
just
to-
can't imagine something like this ever being any other way. I think because partially there's a momentum that comes to it. You talk and then you build upon it and you remember these things. However, it's kind of odd sometimes when you ask someone, hey, how are you this morning? And knowing that I just spoke to you and I've been sitting here with you for an hour.
You asked me that half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How are you doing now? How are you doing 30 minutes later?
Hey, what are you wearing now? Oh, I've already seen what you're wearing. All right, so here we are, minute 12 of a riveting Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Sean, tell us what's going on.
The stakes have never been lower. All right, we're going to start minute 12 with Delta Pod receding into the right-hand wall as if to launch, and ends with Davidson catching up to Alpha Pod when a mysterious light appears in the space before him.
All right, here comes minute 12, Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Sir, Delta Pod has launched.
Radar contact is 421.
Delta Pod, your flight is not authorized.
Going to get my chimp.
You bring that thing back here now. Return to base.
Never send a monkey to do a man's job. Hold on, I got a visual on Alpha Pod, over.
As minute 12, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, and maybe down one pair of cleats.
All right, here we come. Visual recap. We see our pod slowly pull away from the ship. And probably what's the coolest shot, I think, so far is a reflection into the window of the pod. And we see the ship pulling away. It's at least interesting to look at. Everything closes up. And finally, we get a cut into the command area where we see people, again, very nonplussed that the pod is pulling away. An outward shot of the pod. The dude from Apollo 13 screaming at them. Marky Mark flipping switches back and forth until the vanishing levers that we discussed so much with Pericles are there again. He uses them as a throttle and he speeds away into some weird nebula. Things start going wrong. He shakes, and that's about it. So right away, I'm sorry, I had to fight not to laugh while we recorded that. I'm going to get my chimp.
What?
That's what he said. I'm going to get my chimp. It's like
The chump is going to get his chimp.
I think maybe maybe this is what bothers me about this film more than any other. We may have been critical of the other films, but it was because there's so much potential to tell a great story that we wished they would take that into a modern scope and put some budget behind it. This one just seems so unimaginative and lacking of any emotion.
So the script did not have him say, "I'm gonna get my chimp," but
really?
he does say, "Never send a monkey to do a man's job." And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, there's two thoughts there. A, I'm gonna get my chimp, and then he flips around and says, "We never should have sent the chimp anyway." Like, I almost wish he'd said that first.
Yeah, I agree.
We never should have put. A man should be doing this job. We shouldn't have sent an ape, but I'm gonna go get my ape. So just, I don't know, something with a little more emotion or
Right.
something makes a little more sense. But just never send a monkey to do a man's job because, that's a thing.
Well, I think he's jealous because Pericles got to go first, and he wanted to probably be the first one out there exploring instead.
Maybe. To go back to that command console, where we talked about these, the woman that was the sister on Mad About You, whoever she
Anne Ramsey.
Is that what her
That's
name?
her real name, yeah.
Okay, so why wasn't there a little, and there's a word for this, somebody's coined a term for like a minor subplot within a moment instead of a subplot of the actual thing. Why wasn't she helping Marky Mark get out of there? Like she's, almost like when somebody passes somebody in the
code or something like
and
that.
like, go on.
That
go
would have
do
been good, yeah.
It's
to see that
something
she's
just
kind of, yeah.
so that she's involved in it. So when we finally get the shots, so his pod pulls away and the door closes.
He puts his gloves on.
Yes, purely for trauma purpose, though, because they don't seal up as far as we know.
But everything closes up, and we go and we see a readout of Delta Pod. And the dude from Apollo 13's not even really that pissed. You're not, basically, what is it? You're not authorized, something like that?
Yeah.
Really?
You're not authorized for launch.
And also, why is he calling him Delta Pod? He knows who it is. It should be Marky Mark. What the fuck are you doing? That's what should be said. They've been personal. It is so impersonal that I don't care.
Yeah.
There's no tension. There's no nothing. We get levers.
Well, you want to get him to the planet of the apes, right? I mean,
Well,
that's clearly what's happening. He's chasing after a monkey. I mean,
Well,
it's kind of...
If you're talking about getting to the Planet of the Apes, they have like no impulse control because it took only 15 seconds to even launch the pod. I mean, so it's like from 0 to 30 seconds of we can't find the ape, screw it, the ape is dead, and pod is launched. 30 seconds. That's how long all that took.
Okay, because you're saying that makes me start thinking, why? Okay, first off, the command console and the pods are too close in actual visual proximity.
He didn't have to run down a hallway and up a gantry and knock somebody out so he can take the pod.
and he took some kitchen steps to walk up to the pod itself.
And why doesn't Commander Apollo 13 turn around through that window to go, what the, anything? But...
Or Marky Mark makes the doors to the command seal and he busts out the pad so that nobody can get out of there, and then he turns around like, what are you doing? I'm gonna go get my chimp. And then he gets in the pod and heads out.
Then it should be on the command console, sir, I'm sorry, we have a launch of pod blah blah blah, and then he should look and say, we don't have any other.
And
then he goes, Marky Mark, what do you, he knows we don't have any other, and it could be like scheduled launches, and he stops himself because he knows that kind of escalation talking. There's nothing. It's just this.
Well, I don't even have a sense of how he's going to get his ape back. Like,
how's he going to retrieve the pod? Yeah.
Is he going to like go nose to nose, pod
push
to
him
pod,
back,
and like give him like some hand signals to remind him to come back? Has he got a grappling hook that we don't see, or
maybe?
Like, how is he literally going to get this ape back?
Yeah.
If he can, maybe he's thinking he can talk to him over the audio, get close enough to him to be able to communicate to him, or something like that. I mean, it's just kind of. It's a little weird. Like, I'm going to go get him.
Yeah.
How?
This feels like
You're
very
in a pod in space.
Michael Bay forced moment of action that this movie doesn't need. Why do we need? I get that they want to put the monkey on the planet. They want to do something. We're following the monkeys. It's monkeys. I get your theme, but I don't need it. What I need is for you to hit said wormhole and go to a place where you don't belong and things are askew. I don't need all this. It's boring.
It is boring. Yeah.
We may have. I may have been the most. Oh, I'm sorry, Gertie. No, you're.
Is she chewing on a zip tie?
Yeah, but I'm so afraid that's going to turn to an electrical cable.
We'll get it. In a second.
But, you know, I may have been the most critical of Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And it was only because I feel like there's such a world that, you know, can be explored that I felt that it just felt like a rehash. Mm-hmm. But at least it was a rehash of interesting content. There were people we liked. There was a charming character of Brent. I liked him as an actor. Marky Mark, when you extract him from what I think his wheelhouse, you know, Boogie Nights to The Departed, those kind of things, doesn't hit me as somebody that I'm compelled to watch in this moment. He's just...
Give me to the planet.
So,
yeah.
Am I the only one that thought they looked like iPods whenever it came out of the... you see that right in front? Yeah.
Your plug.
Yeah, they look like we talked about this early on, didn't we? I think we did.
Yeah.
We pointed up before they look like that.
It's been so long.
Like Bluetooth.
It's been so many months. I don't remember.
Here I just trumpeted that we like to do all these at once, so it stays present in mind. Yet we took a month and a half, 2-month break, 3-month break.
So we get close to the end of this, right? And there's this flash of like purple blue light that pops up, and when the flash comes, that's a good idea. When it comes up, we see it the pod return, and he calls back to the command station. Oberon, I got a visual on Alpha pod over. So he sees his ape. He doesn't try and talk to the ape yet. I would have been like, Pericles.
Yeah, command.
Something that I said command.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like he should have at least reached out to the pod while also letting Oberon know that he found it. You know,
right.
I would have liked that kind of immediacy of it.
Yeah,
but I guess it's the end of the minute, so we don't get too much there.
Maybe that's it. I think you may have just touched on what's wrong here, is that it doesn't seem like the actual focus is on retrieving the ape. It seems like the actual focus is getting him off the ship. There is no, I'm going to get my ape. That's about the extent of it.
There's nothing, we talked about no passion for Marky Mark. He's not showing any excitement for wanting to get Pericles back. There's no emotion in his face. And he should be, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
That is the goal of what I think,
I wanted Marky Mark to, whenever he goes, you're not authorized to launch. I just want to go, you have no power over me. I'm in space.
I just also want to say, if anybody heard during that discussion me go, oh, it was because JJ came in here and I had no idea she was beside me, and suddenly it wasn't Gertie's, it was skin. I was like, oh my God, scared the absolute hell out of me. So I flinched because your wife was near me, Sean. She was like down there and touched my leg. So we had a moment.
So we got Alpha Pod and Delta Pod. I wonder where Beta and Gamma are.
Who knows?
Yeah. The mystery of Beta Pod.
Okay. I'm going to try to find something I like about this movie. I'm going to try. Paul Giamatti eventually comes into this, and I do like him a lot as an actor. He's a very interesting actor.
Yeah, he to me is the one.
Helena Bonham Carter, I love her too.
He wins the movie for me.
Yeah. So I look forward to that. I had already said I'm not the biggest Marky Mark fan. I think now that's absolutely true.
This has cemented it.
Yeah. All right. Anybody got anything before we move on to tomorrow's minute?
That's it for me.
I'm good.
All right. For Richard and Sean, I'm Todd. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.